those mid laners.
Expect the Senna pick here. That has been the meta for both of these two teams. Lucian and Nami is open, and we are going through it quickly.
And we get the instant Lucian Nami lock-in here for Elk and On again. Elk and On absolutely crazy with the mid-game prio on these champions. The Tahm Kench actually comes through instead of the Ornn. I actually had liked the Ornn a lot better because we saw yesterday so frequently used the long-range pressure that you can put on the enemy AD carry with those champs, and we're already getting Bin flaunting some picks there, but he locks in the Twisted Fate instead of the Camille.
And we wanted to know where the evolution would be on the side of BLG to ensure that they would get the wins. The bans essentially identical, first couple of picks very similar. It's that Twisted Fate, the additional answer. They took away the Vayne to secure this matchup to make it friendly for Cassante, but now Bin has the TF ready to go.
Saw the Camille over there as well. I do think Camille into Kench specifically can struggle a little bit more, a little bit harder to find that backline access consistently. But TF should come as no surprise though. Coming into the first time these two teams faced off, it was the expectation that FaZe and Lance were going to struggle most, and BLG have put Elk and On a punish matchup.
But I think the biggest thing is that with both the mid laners foregoing their picks in the first draft here, I feel like it is a better spot to be Chovy because he has shown much more depth than Knight has. And I'm thinking now maybe for BLG they're gonna have Knight just on one of these initiation mid lane champions like the Annie, like the Nico, and try and be that engaged for the team.
And it's really been depth of champion pool.
Orianna's still up though.
And that's the thing, is it something that BLG even want to take or play? We've seen the Hwei taken off the board. They don't want to deal with that long-range threat and pressure.
It also was used really well into the Tristana. Chovy had it as a really good answer there. So maybe they want to do Tristana. Then you have pushing lane Tristana. You have Twisted Fate for your side lane pressure as well. That could be quite nice.
See if what ends up being the ban here. Tristana, I do think, is being signaled for BLG here. They're going to have either the option to lock in something stable, like that Orianna, give counterpick to Shun, because the jungle matchup has actually been big. We have seen the Nidalee already being taken away, obviously, but I feel like in the first match, Canyon popping up was a large part of why BLG struggled so much.
And I think the best champions Shun has had this tournament have been the tank junglers. Sejuani, the ones that come to mind most frequently. He is going to get his hands on the Xin, obviously a pretty solid pick, but now Gen G, priority pick on what mid laner they want, counter pick for jungle. What are they going to do with it?
One of the things with Kha'Zix is that even though I think Canyon didn't look that good when he played it against Fnatic, it also struggles into TF specifically. Don't think that's the counterpick they're going to be going for.
Oh! Yes! We get the We get the Karthus jungle coming out, baby!
And this entire tournament has been about who can stay one step ahead in the draft, who can set their players up for success. And now we have a big step forward for Gen G. Karthus, Yone together. The response from BLG might just have to be, it could be anything, to be honest.
Oh, the Karthus coming out here, that 2v2, so much damage available. We'll see if the main thing with that Karthus is, can you keep it safe early on? If he can get going, if he can start accelerating and just power farm, there's a lot of power in that pick, but BLG have so much early aggression.
Yeah, and they do end up going with the Nico. I think we are going to see a lot of these enabling picks for Knight from the mid lane, especially if they are able to get Twisted Fate for Bin, because Bin is able to do so much in the side lanes, and that's kind of the one weakness there for Nico. Nico's so good as a mid-jungle duo. Nico and Xin Zhao is extremely scary. So Chovy here on the Yone, going to have to, play a little bit safe early on since he's got a Karthus jungle. Karthus looking to farm, and he might get ganked a lot.
Yeah, setup playmakers for Knight was what looked good for him in the previous series, the previous time these teams matched up, going back to that. But it's Gen G throwing this curveball, right? We talk about entering the unknown, becoming the unknown. Gen G are doing a pretty good job. Karthus is a pretty big unknown. Luckily, he's the same jungler he's always been in terms of what he wants to do, but combined with the Tahm Kench, the additional safety this team has, it's a terrifying prospect to play against a new pick in a grand finals.
Yeah, the last time we had a Karthus jungle on the international stage was 2022, so it definitely has been a while, but you know the game plan for sure, and especially for Canyon, looking for the power farming here. Let's see about the pushing lanes though, because with pushing lanes, BLG, they could go for invades. They can really make your life hard.
One of the big things with the Karthus is that he is actually relatively strong early on, depending on rune set. You can either go First Strike or for Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest does really incentivize you to play a lot more aggressive, whereas First Strike obviously scales insanely well, gets you a lot of gold quite quickly. And I agree with you, because if we get standard lanes, it should be pushing lanes in top and bot, and pre-6, I think in mid as well. So Canyon's pathing is going to have to be absolutely impeccable. They're going to have to track Shun, because if you invade the Karthus and put him behind early on, you can really struggle.
And I think the key to invading Karthus and to the jungle comes through the mid lane. So if Shun can gank for Knight, these Nico setups are always really, really strong. If they could put some early pressure onto Chovy, that would be ideal, and they're gonna go for a possible late invade. They do have a sweeper ready to use.
On stepping up, sweeps, sees Lehens in the brush. Bit of poke with the Ardent Blaze, but not enough. Minor gold lead, +4 to Elk.
Always quite nice to get an early invade against the Karthus, just so you can start tracking the respawn of the camps, even if you don't do anything on the first clear. Knowing the respawns here for his camps, stealing away a Raptor here or there would be really, really big. And that is something that the mid lane will help out with.
Very telling that Kayn also went Gathering Storm. I think that's the most Gen G rune possible.
And I really do think this is the right call for Gen G. Go for the lane swap so they could send their son Tahm Kench up to the top side of the map and have Keen down here on his Keen Sante main pick, trying to soak up some experience. We'll keep track of both top laners as they try and soak experience.
Keen getting ignited, taking a lot of damage here. Does have the luxury of the TP, but a very positive early trade for the side of BLG. Remember that when we talked about the series initially, the first time they played, it was supposed to be about the 2v2 bot for BLG dominating. But in this tournament, 2v2s are not guaranteed. And as you highlighted, Gen G already swapping away, limiting Bin's impact, limiting the impact of Elkanon as well.
Really good vision control here. Chovy is 100% aware that this is happening. And
Goes
as
forward.
a result, oh, even the Ghost goes for Flash.
Even if you're aware, the popping of the Ghost right there, the extra move speed, so good from Bin. That is a very big trade up in summoner spells, especially because those top laners don't get to do a whole lot of fun stuff early on. So Bin just gonna come on down here and add the extra pressure for the 3-on-1 dive.
Oh, and Keen doesn't have a whole lot of tools, wasn't able to get a lot of experience due to the early ignite from Elk. It might be in deep trouble here.
Red card to take aggro, it would seem. Waiting for a bit more time. Good initial damage coming in for Elk. Keen getting lower and lower. Nice gold card. He started Pathmaker level 1. Elk getting healed up. One final auto, and Bin grabs the kill.
I actually think it's really smart to give extra money to Bin, get the first blood bonus, so you can actually get the Twisted Fate money-making machine going, because rushing into a static Shiv and using the passive for extra gold is really critical. And as we said, going to be low on resources otherwise if you're doing the lane swaps.
Just going back in again.
TP coming in. Lehens level 3,
yeah.
Crucially, has a lot of XP from taking the top side, so we'll be able to defend there. Knight, nice sidestep. Chovy. Wall goes down, but Knight easily able to walk away.
No Dark Harvest proc there for Canyon is what he was looking for. You do see the clear speed advantage Karthus is going to have, and is only going to get worse throughout the game. It's a double win for BLG though, because one, they get the dive, which in of itself is nicely done. Keen overstepping crucially, but also they were on the bottom half of the map, so it's a lot easier for them to get plates. They also have the TF, who actually, as we can see, 2 plates going over versus only a single plate for the top side of Gen G.
Yeah, and now we're going to see, since the Tahm Kench used the teleport to the bottom side, on the reset here, BLG sending Elk back down to the bottom side of the map to go meet back up Lucianami after they get to their level 3. So much more firepower here with the combos. See if they can find it. Shun following down to the bottom side for bottom side Scuttle Crab as well.
And this is really when BLG are the most terrifying, when On and Shun are free to kind of group up. Something that was very muted by how dominant Canyon was in the previous performance. Karthus, of course, similar to the Nidalee, really happy to power farm, but the early impact much diminished by the Karthus pick.
Karthus also, ideally, would love to have his lanes be in a decent spot. Actually get far out of the Otis. Knight gets taken so low.
And this is so difficult now because Chovy with a health advantage, also has a sustain advantage because of the fleet, and this is pre-back. Once he goes back and buys boots too, this gets infinitely harder.
Chovy also denied the cannon there tonight too. He couldn't quite get back up to the cannon minion, so big health trade, also denying every little bit of CS that he possibly can. Bin, meanwhile, crashing the wave on top side as we get the cinematic dragon arrival. I really do want to see the mini-map though.
Look, you just have to appreciate the Hex Drake animations, Kobe.
I do love the dragon.
It gets the people fired up. It's Year of the Dragon. Knockback, and the pullback.
The reason I wanted to see the mini-map is to track the reset here, because you're on the reset timing for Pays, and Gen G are sending him up to the top side for the grubs.
Canyon has just been power farming, also picked up an early Dark Seal. Level 6 going to be the big spike here. But will his lanes actually be able to have any pressure in that 1v1 so they can use the ult and threaten objectives?
I think this is pretty good because they got the teleport from Chovy with, full HP off of a buy. They have Senna up on topside. It's a huge topside play here for Gen G. Even if they only get the grubs, even if they don't get a gank or a Dark Harvest stack, Kenyon really wants that.
Really committed.
But even if they just get the grubs and they can rotate Senna over to grab some extra souls as well, Pei's going to try and get some souls off this wave, then going to rotate over.
And Bin has been kept pretty low on the experience. Great early impact on the roams, but it buys Gen G a little bit more time as Shun is looking for some early impact here. Will got spotted, but being able to dash away, not going to be in too much fret. And Canyon, meanwhile, is taking the grubs.
Good discipline on the top side of the map to spot Shun before they try to go for any aggressive play, but Elkanon left alone to just continuously assault this tower. It is traded for the grubs on top side. Canyon shredding through those pretty quickly, and for now, Lahen's in a little bit of trouble, but mostly just a bit of extra money coming in from the first strike. And
he actually soaks up so much. Like, Elk is out of mana right now. He gets a little bit back right there with some biscuits. Both of them do have biscuits on bottom side.
I have to see as well, as soon as 6 is available, Lahen's might be in some trouble, gives Elk a lot more effective range, and even with Pace roaming around, obviously gonna feel great for Keen, who was already struggling in that matchup, but it does mean that this turret towards the bot side of the map is really taking a beating.
Another TP rapidly reassigning lanes here. See where Bin wants to go next as he is also resetting. Elkanon really want to get this wave in, but Keen has the health advantage, so he's just going to continue to walk up. Pathmaker going in, just dashing out, buying as much time as he can. He got the Aftershock proc, but now Elk wants to finish. Q3 coming out, and Tofu Strike's not going to connect. Flash forward on! Bloodthirsty support, you love to see it.
And Keen, he goes in, and I'm like, Keen, what are you doing? Because he's playing into the 1v2, and even without mana, Keen has been put so far behind already. Now 0-2. He was one of the most dependable members of Gen G, particularly on the Cassante, and BLG is punishing him.
Exactly. On his main pick. All summoner spells used by the BLG bottom lane in that endeavor, though. So maybe Gen G can try and look on the bright side and try and punish the Lucian Nami here with no summoner spells. But this, just underestimating the damage. And it's all about On. It really is all about the support, because he lands the bubble to keep him in place, and that is the kill range. Immediately after that bubble lands, Elk flashes in, On flashes in to say, that one's fine, thank you very much. We will guarantee that kill.
Keen really trying to just skill check the opposition in that context. And in a composition that scales so well, you have to wonder if it's the right call. Ultimately, giving a bit of an edge to the side of Elk, and Elk now feeling pretty empowered. Noonquiver picked up. They're going to be able to push that lane incredibly quickly. Pace and Lahen's will do all right now that the Bomby Cinder has come through. They can match some of the push if the Tahm Kench can get in range of the creeps.
We'll see if that's going to be the case. Now, the one thing, as you point out, On gets the kill, so Elk not going to gain as much power as they otherwise would have been able to. You see as well, Canyon and Pace have both been hovering around this mid lane a whole lot. And that's the thing that I think as a Gen G fan you're going to look toward. This team has fought themselves out of bigger holes, and it's going to come down to what can Chovy and Canyon do in a team fight.
And also when we think back to the first series, so many games were decided by how decisive BLG could be with proactive tools. Gen G have a fantastic comp for how they like to play the game. They can go late if they want to. They can scale with this Karthus. And again, it feels like we're in a situation where BLG are the ones who need to kind of put their foot on the gas, not just allow the Senna to get souls for free, which to be fair, Pei's only sitting at 21. They're doing a pretty good job so far. Colin coming out though, and Tahm Kench happily giving over 27 gold in exchange for the health bar.
Yeah, Elk and On here, eating up 1,000 gold lead basically, even with the Tahm Kench having the slight little bit of extra gold down there. Soaking up experience, trying to keep this tower alive desperately. It's still on its last legs.
Do take note as well how much vision there is for Elk and On to really enable them to play as aggressive as possible, use the pressure of this Lucian Nami to play up to the turret continuously, and they are making great use of it.
I think we definitely have to keep our eyes on the first possible Karthus ultimate play here from Canyon. Canyon has farmed up quite nicely in the jungle right now and coming towards mid lane over a ward.
Shun. Wall of Pain hits him, just a slow, nice sidestep on the Skittle. But meanwhile, play just gonna fizzle. They don't want to overcommit into a Yone with ultimate. Keen though, getting aggressive on the top side, has the aftershock, doing so much work. Bin flashing away, pulling out the gold card, but there's the Karthus ultimate. Keen not gonna be able to follow. Nice backstep from Bin to dodge the Senna ultimate.
That's 2 globals invested for Gen G. And Bin, yeah, Summoner gets blown, but not gonna start the snowball here for Gen G as BLG make their way over to deny the 6 grubs here for Gen G. Picked up the first free, but second free, I don't think they can approach with this Lucianami here.
And it's huge. The first Karthus ultimate is over 2 minutes long cooldown. So to only get a single Dark Harvest stack off of that, Bin did a really good job there, escaping, just has to dodge a little bit of the Senna ultimate to make sure that it doesn't go over. And that is a very big cooldown in the early game.
Particularly because you're also looking for early Ultimate Hunter stacks, right? Canyon did go that, meaning that every time he gets an assist, up to the 5 individual members of BLG, he's going to get shorter and shorter cooldowns, and it makes it so much more impressive to make a play because you think, you know, you have a pretty decent chance of winning, but that Karthus ult is always going to be a threat.
Effectively playing at 200 to 300 less life. Yeah. Obviously that number only getting bigger as the game goes on, and as Canyon just continues to power farm. 16 CS lead, 4 camps extra, and should, if he knows he's isolated in the 1v1, might be able to get something done, but doesn't have that assurance, seeing Lehens in the mid lane, seeing Pays in the area as well.
Yeah, and because of that safety, they're going to rotate Chovy down to the side lane while they keep Lehens and Pays here mid for it. Dragon coming up in 40 seconds, though, and BLG are going to be able to have vision control already in the river leading up to it. We're going for the reset on right now for those wards.
Do have Keen with teleport available. We'll see if Gen G want to try and play around that. Chovy also hasn't really been involved in a whole lot of action on the map, has mainly just been relegated to side looking for the first item completion. Yeah,
I'd advise Gen G to give up this Dragon. I don't think you want to fight this. I mean, Nico early is such a play-making monster down there, and they have such good setup with the successful single item completions on Elk and On. The Lucianami is like the scary point where you first get your Imperial Mandate, big buffs coming from On, and then the static shift just burst damage from that duo in mid lane. So I think this one should just be pretty easy for BLG after the reset from Shun can come over here at his leisure.
Crucial, as you highlighted, that they respect those spikes from BLG. You can see Elk, now that he has that additional damage, not afraid to step up. And Chovy, pretty much anytime he sees Knight being the one to match up against him, he's happy. Without jungle support, there is no kill pressure on this Yone. When Blade of the Rune King is finished, it's only going to get easier on the side lane for the side of Gen G. BLG, though, this is that strong point. Can they find the fight? Can they find the angle? Burning the TP, perhaps just to try and make a fast play down to Dragon.
Rocket Belt is done. BLG already on the Dragon. You see with the CP, they're looking to punish on the cross map instead.
Goes from Bin. Chovy on the way, Q3 forward, Fate sealed, gonna go. Bin, nice sidestep, ghosting out. Chovy trying to cover the escape route, but ghosting TF is damn fast. Unbound Soul wants the Q3 for the knockup to interrupt the Destiny, but has to snap back. Bin should just be able to ult out if he so chooses. But of course doesn't have it for another 8 seconds. 7, counting down. And Pays is gonna get curl credit. Bin, nice sidestep trying to turn it back, but that's the Requiem. Sing a song for Bin.
Is he out?
But he's out!
He's out!
A song of survival!
Oh,
Pays!
The railgun from downtown. Pays turns around and hits the headshot on Bin.
Whoa, I think Canyon also used his ultimate there.
He did.
But he didn't.
He got a Dark Harvest. He got
the Dark Harvest stack.
He got his Dark Harvest. That was early.
Pulling mid. Bin so close to the escape there. Pays, perfect angle on the ulti that time around. Wasn't going to make the same mistake twice he did in the top lane. And
That's a heavy investment, though, because they do use the 2 ultimates. Yes, they get the kill on Bin, but he does waste a lot of time. And as a result, BLG get both the Dragon and immediately the Herald as well. And BLG, again, are going to remain the aggressor here, looking to play aggressively, try and break open this map to not have to deal with Gen G's late-game team fighting power.
Yeah, BLG has a really, really strong mid game with Lucian, Nami here, Prio in mid, and the pick potential of the Nico and the Twisted Fate. Now they rotate Bin right back up off to the top side, while the rest of the squad is going to use the Rift Herald to take down this critical mid tower. So much presence is gained in League of Legends. Mid tower opens up the jungle to those wards, opens up your team to the possibility of getting picked off when you're trying to rotate from objective to objective.
Particularly with Lucianami, one of the big reasons why this combo has been so insanely powerful in pro play for so long is the ability to very quickly get control of mid wave, and if anyone ever steps up particularly well at a turret, you can take him down as Chovy. Will be fine, but the turret still going to go down for BLG.
Yep, Bin is going to be the side lane king. And this escape was almost miraculous if he had just been able to dodge a little bit more on the left on the final Senna ultimate. But this was so well done by Bin. He was kiting out, trying to buy time for his ultimate like you were talking about, counting down the seconds. And then Paze throws out his snare here. So once he dodges that, he knows, boom, gold card. He's not going to die to the Karthus ultimate. And he just goes for the port out, but Paze immediately turns around, and that ward right there gave him the exact location, and he fired off.
You could see the double click. He doubts for a second, and that's what costs him. I mean, you love to see it, right? Confidence from Paze. Again, remember, we didn't expect a lot from him in the context of the series. He was supposed to be one of the weaker points, but Paze and Lahen's doing okay at surviving. Elk is still a big problem we can see as the tower will fall, opening so much more of the map for BLG to play through.
And one of the main questions, I think, is going to be this priority on the Kench specifically. We saw the Ornn be so much more successful in the previous games. We saw the Nautilus was banned, which I think was a great shout from BLG. I think that combo in particular is insanely tough to deal with. But the Ornn seemed like a much better second option. And we saw even T1, who Carrier, my opinion, one of the best Tom Kenches, as far as that's a thing that you can be said, actually shows a lot of skill expression with them. Even they dropped it in their series against BLG.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be missing the offensive power of that Ornn ultimate and the safety of those Ornn item upgrades for later. Maybe Lahen's can get some good devours to deny gold card picks whenever you're facing against the Twisted Fate and a Nico as well. The pick potential is definitely there on the side of BLG. Bin not going to get picked this time around.
Quick flash out, gold card lock. Chovy already burned the soul unbound. Flash follow, but the wind becomes lightning. Chovy might be in trouble. The Q3 out, and the TP coming in to try to save the day. Bin wants to take down Chovy, but there's Keen to body block. Bin oversteps and is knocked down.
Bin tries to go Giga, but instead gets met by Gen.G. Chovy stays alive. A lot invested there. With the flash on Chovy's ultimate, they see an opportunity to turn, but Shun also is the one who invests his flash rather very aggressively. The rest of Gen.G, they're ready and respond.
Yeah, got pretty hypey there, looking for the full tower dive even after the response had come through. And now Gen.G on their reset, they're gonna go 4-1 split push. Chovy back out to the side lane. You guys kept your eyeballs on that CS from Chovy. 180 on this side lane with the Quicksilver Sash to deny the picks.
Immediately.
And I think this is genius, because with the Soul Unbound, you're already so hard to lock down in the side lane. The ulti, the Q3, so many tools to stay safe. And BLG gonna need to look elsewhere to find an angle of attack at this moment. And right now, pushing through mid is the answer. Dragon, 10 seconds away. Chemtech will be the Soul, will be the map. BLG need to find this fight. Naka from Lahen's doesn't connect. That's the turn now. Can't eat himself. Is going to get cold down. Does walk away with his life, but they get the flash on the side of BLG.
Still a big win here for BLG. They remain in control of the river. Lahen's can TP back, of course, with a full health bar. We'll see if the used ultimates were enough. It's only Elk's calling. Gen.G really want to contest for this.
Set up there, Shun. Seems laser focused on the Dragon. Has marked up Paze. Are they just willing to flip it? Double bubble, good start to the fight, but Keen frontlining as he needs to. Ben using the ultimate, where's he going to go? Drake taken down by the side of BLG. Gen.G, they know they lost the objective. They want to get out, but they want to turn it back on Knight. And Powered Blast Cone gets him out. Chovy fishing, but finds nothing.
So good. They hit the smite. Shun hits the smite on the objective, and then Bin immediately deletes the bottom minion wave there. The Twisted Fate ultimate used to get out side lane pressure once again. So after yoinking the objective, BLG also then retake full control of the map.
We're also seeing Gen.G, their engage isn't that strong. As we're taking a look at the play here, Bin, I don't even know, I think he might have gotten hit by that, doesn't want to run the risk. Flashes, and then here they really commit extremely hard. And yes, they get Chovy's flash, but I think they should have left it at that. Maybe the call was, we're not going to make it out, so Bin tries to trade.
Yeah, he really wanted to get that kill onto Chovy, but also with the Senna ultimate coming through there, Chovy stands tall, and so do the hopes of Gen.G in this game. BLG standing in a really, really good spot here in game number 1. But Chovy definitely will be the hope here for Gen G, will have the possibility to be that difference maker.
And we've talked a lot about this tournament, about the different Drakes, but against a Karthus, Chemtech Soul, it's never gonna feel bad. He's always ulting when you're below the threshold. Anything you can do to survive will be significant, but obviously Elk still feels like he's putting himself in the position alongside Bin to be the big carry in this game 1. Of course, Chovy has been, as always, Chovying, farming up, but delayed a bit of his early spikes to get that QSS, to be safe in the side lane. And now Gen G taking some control around the top side.
And Elk's Lucian is nasty. This guy is so slick with it. We'll get to see how offensively he uses the champion, chunking out enemy health bars to try and get BLG the advantage in setting up for objectives. And when you've got the support of the Twisted Fate ultimate there from Bin and the playmaking coming from the Nico, they really have all of the tools to push this lead home.
Gen G, one of their big issues, and we saw it a little bit in the last fight as well, is that so there's a lack of engage. In of itself, if you have a lot of poke, you can kind of counteract that. That isn't really the case. And BLG obviously are a pretty short-range composition, so they're going to be looking to play into you. But if BLG is to the objective first and forces you to walk into them, basically all pressure is going to be on Chovy to find a big ultimate, or Keen to find a flank and get into the enemy backline, because without that, actually starting fights for Gen G is quite tough, and that's why Lance goes in.
It's so hard for Gen G to get control of vision, so they can never have a good setup to these fights.
Yeah.
And look at the health on the mid tower of BLG. It is barely scratched. There was like 2 autos onto their mid tower. They have so many defenses to rely on still too. And then very easy way of controlling the map here. Push out mid, then take over jungle.
Elk farming about 100 extra first strike gold there, just continuing to cement his lead in this game. 3-point-K individual lead. He is compared to a Senna who's not farming, but still 2.5 items, getting closer to what we assume will be a Lord Dominic's regards. And it is tricky, you're right, especially for a Yone in general. Once you get out of lane phase, it's so hard to reliably have Q3 up in a team fight. If you have to open an ult with Fate Sealed, we already saw Bin sidestep it once, flash it once. It's a highly telegraphed ability, similar to the Tahm Kench W. So if BLG misstep, there are great punish tools, but proactive tools, very tricky for Gen G.
For Gen G, you see, like, if you step up, you're not winning those short trades, and we're not going to be to the point where pace actually is a threat on this Senna, only sitting at just shy of 60 souls, whereas we see Look at Night with his build also going for the Leandries, because one of the big things we've seen with Lucianami in particular is they can struggle to take down this Cassante. Not only is Keen behind, but he's also playing into a Last Whisper here for Elk already, assuming that's going to be Lord Dums, and then Knight also building for extra shred.
BLG pretty happy about that current condition, and you only have to wait 1 more minute for your setup for Dragon Soul. It's a very quick pace on the Dragon stacking this game for BLG, so game plan remains the same. Push out your side wave, rotate over to the Dragon right now, and you can see on the mini-map the Nami placing control wards in preparation for it, and you'll keep on seeing this like 40-second to 30-second timer where they reset, grab their second wave of wards, and then come right back for the Dragon ahead of time.
Definitely doing everything they can to fight for control, and you can see how much deeper their ward line is right now. If someone oversteps, they have the TP on Knight or the ulti on Bin to punish.
The only thing they have to keep in mind is a little bit of vision on Baron, because that would be a possible, counterplay for Gen G. You could sacrifice and just try and burn when you have such a hard time of face checking, as you guys keep on highlighting.
And look, like when you have Karthus and you have Yone, even if Senna does no damage to the objective, it does not matter. Malignant's importantly now completed by Canyon, level 13 as well, getting stronger as we approach the
Gonna fight it, here we go.
Elk sitting on free items. He is the one to look out for in this fight. How much else can he do?
Coling to open things up, just a little bit of poke. Pathmaker from the Cassante to get next to the Drake. Shown as he focused on the objective or the fight. Chovy ready to find the angle, and he has Q3 ready to go. Trying to steal the fate of Sean, but the sidestep's not going to get it. Again, Knight! The follow-up is clean, and Bin is tearing through the rest of the team. Elk is standing tall. Canyon's death defied, or at least delayed, as Chovy tries to finish off Elk. The snapback doesn't get him. The Chemtech Soul makes the difference.
So many low health bars there. Shun is the hero again. These smites have been so clean. He secures the Dragon Soul for BLG, and they win the team fight. Bin was able to assassinate Pays on the bottom side there, and they just decimate them.
Normally, Canyon smites are something you can trust, but Sean getting the better hand of him twice now. The power of this TF as well, if anyone even slightly separates, it's so hard as the steal comes in and Pace is forced away into the waiting arms of Bin by Knight.
Bin on the outside there, pins him in, and just with 3 autos, the gold card, and then chunks him down, got the flash too. Then look at this. Bin also runs back onto a Malignance. But it's fine, job done. They got what they came for here, and BLG in a commanding position in this rematch. First game here, but it looks quite good.
And this is what you want to see, that aggressive, that proactive play. There's not a lot of teams in the world where you're excited when they want to 50-50 flip a Dragon Soul, but BLG make it work. Bin 1 or 2 oopsies this game. Goes, overextends on the bottom side, steps in a Malignant circle, but it doesn't matter. The team is so far ahead now, 4K lead. The Soul as well. Lance has to be careful about stepping up. Elk is getting stronger and stronger. Had Lord Doms at the previous site, now has cooldown boots, and even Chovy is struggling to approach without the reliable Q3.
The biggest difference for me is how much better Elk and On look. In the first series against Gen G, it felt like they weren't really able to get the better of Pace and Lions. Now, Gen G, they have a strong team fighting composition still at 4.5K behind. They're going to need to find an absolutely insane angle. There are a lot of flashes down, so maybe if Keen can get onto the back line.
Missile dive. Chovy just burned Q3. Going to go over the wall with the Soul unbound. Devour is there for Lahens, trying to take the jungler out. Tidal wave to disengage, but still he drops. Shun deleted. Gen G setting their sights on the Baron.
They've got to force, they've got to force. They still have Chovy's ultimate here, so Yone is like their possibility of a turn.
Shouldn't be stolen, but can they win the fight?
Knight using the shapeshifter, spotting them out. Chovy fishing for the angle, Q3, while the rest of the team burns it down, but it's been off to the side. The objective isn't falling fast enough. Fate Seal, they just want to finish it, they just want to take the Baron, but can they get the follow-up fight? Elk untouched for now, he doesn't have a flash, but it might not matter. Abyssal dive, backstep from Elk. Dawning Shadow, only connecting on the Lucian is Bin. Desperately tries to make a stand, but the 4-man core of Gen G takes the Baron, and they get the fight.
Huge pick for Gen G where they were able to kill Shun and then start up this Baron. They're chasing down a little bit more here, but focusing on finally getting this mid lane turret. Elk is
Dash
still...
in, Q3 sidestep, that's clutch. Requiem, not a lot of damage.
They can't get it, they can't get it. The resets have come in, Shun is back and alive. They have to respect Elkanon's presence here. Gen G call it off, but they've made such a big comeback play here in just getting that pick and getting the Baron for themselves.
All starts with Shun, and we kept talking, Lahens, he might be one of the guys that needs to find the angle, and it starts with him getting picked. Chovy is able to draw so much time here.
This ult, ooh, the ult is the only thing that saves him from the gold card combo.
Otherwise would have gone down, but instead stays alive. And this is, I think, the one moment where you do see the weakness for BLG is when they're forced to take a fight, when the cooldowns aren't up, when Shun isn't there to create space, and Elkanon can't actually walk up.
And I want to further emphasize how important that timing was to get that pick, because Gen G also have a very rough time in dealing with the split pressure that Bin was applying, but they just forced the pick on mid, and then they're able to turn it into something here. Let's see if they can actually get down this mid tower, though. The defense here from BLG has been good.
Pays 76 souls, approaching the 80 break point. 80 extra range will help the siege a little bit, but this is a team that is going to struggle in these extended plays and the extended sieges. They don't have that reliable control mage wave clear. Canyon can fill in that gap as best he can. Nice wall of pain to try to push them back off the tower. Pays continuing to accumulate souls. Not a lot is going to come from this Baron, but surely at least the tier 1 will drop. BLG, though, don't want to give it up without a fight.
And keep your eyes on the side lanes, the pushing side lanes for BLG. Once again, Bin is able to push that one all the way into secondary turret, so Chovy has to go answer it and clean it up. Plus, they already had built up a big wave on bottom side, also applying pressure.
Crucially, BLG still denied the possible map control that comes with this Rebel Baron power play, and because of that, in about a minute, we are probably going to know one way or another, because that Elder, the Baron you can get and you can mitigate, but for either side, either with a Calling or with a Karthus who just now hit level 16, if you get an Elder buff, you're going to start getting into one-tap territory.
Yes, Canyon ultimates now will really, really be painful. Rank 3 in the ulti, very far ahead, almost 2K his gold lead with the power farming.
Has been crucial for the team. Only going to get more difficult to deal with. Very few tools in the game League of Legends that allow you to deal with Requiem reliably. No Locket on the team, no tank to build it. Gen G maintaining the siege, 2 seconds left on their Red Bull Baron power play. It's mostly just the gold from the objective, but they get themselves more space, more time to get items, prepare for the next fight. The poking going forward, Colin getting dropped down. Pay's really starting to hurt though, and Keen shrugs off the damage.
Chovy going for the reset right now. See what he's gonna buy.
Gen G's first to the objective. They have set up. Can Bin find that flank again?
Fully committed. This game has had so many 50-50s, both sides willing to bet it all. Trust in their hands, trust in the smite. Gen G now backing away, seeing the Destiny come out, waiting for it to expire, not wanting to give the flank angle, staying grouped up. Chovy stacking the Q on the Elder, but it's been behind them. Chovy really wants to find that Q3 onto Elk. He'll have to try to find something else though. Instantly snaps back, but Lehen still goes in. Crucially, Wall of Pain to try to disrupt on the rest of the team. Baron, Dragon, knock the focus. Knockup comes in from Knight, and it's clutch. Dawning Shadow kicking things off, but Lehen's is already down. Shun might drop as well. Elk in the backside in the meantime, and it's Keen. Keen who's making the difference. The ulti coming in from Canyon. The two-man pour. Chovy standing strong. Shun in on. Still there, Keen zoning them away, doesn't want to risk the 50-50, wants to keep Chovy on that objective, wants to give him the buff. 900, 800, zoning them away, and now they can turn, now they can look to burn BLG down with the power of the Elder Drake.
They might not want to. The big thing there, Karthus at this point, yes, even if you kill him, the amount of damage that you're able to do in these fights where BLG is forced to walk into them is going to be huge, and Gen G get the Dragon.
Canyon and Chovy, what a combination. Here we go, Chovy goes for on, but it was flashed. So then they still have that engage you're talking about with Lehen. He gets burned down, but Canyon gets right in the middle there. Knight goes for it, and he still is able to get off so much damage as he is dead. Ultimate comes down. Keen in the backside with the extra support of Karthus ultimate is what is able to take down the Lucian.
Keen, if he doesn't buy that much space, and Shun can just walk up, Elk and On can join the fight, there is no way that Gen G win that, particularly with, again, Bin off to the sides. But instead, can they use this Elder buff? We talked a lot about their issues with starting fights. Canyon obviously will have his ultimate available again, but that alone is not going to be enough. They need to take down Inhibs, they need to take down some actual objectives, or they can use this Elder to chain into the Baron in about 30 seconds.
Chovy spots Bin on the side lane, opts not to chase. Pressing into enemy territory, pressing into BLG's jungle, laying down a bit of vision, setting up for the Baron. 20 seconds until it spawns. Still a lot of power on this lineup, but Knight looking for the flank, looking for the angle. Destiny used, tidal wave used, Bin caught off on the side. Knight's ult, not gonna find anybody. Bin still with gold card prep, but they're just walking away. Gen G so disciplined, they don't want to give them the fight, even with 2 members in power.
That was a good angle there though. BLG tried to force a fight, known Chovy doesn't have TP and wasn't there. So with Bin, try to force something and try and waste the time on this Elder, but Gen G, they're looking to start up the Baron.
Chovy really is a monster right now with shield blow, bow plus Jack Show plus the QSS. He is very, very difficult to deal with.
Gets the blast cone, gets back into the pit. Shun, wind becomes lightning. Objective marked, 5K, getting lower. Elk off to the side, 3K. Baron gonna fall in favor of Gen G, and BLG just coming for a spectator play. Elk can be forced to dash back, Keen dashing in.
Bin
no
is
angle
pushing.
to keep the fight, but Bin grabbing the mid lane tower.
BLG are still pulling him around the map, but the objective does go the way of Gen G. We'll see if this time around they are able to use it as Bin gets
Missile
knocked
dive,
up.
good knockup, follows the TF. Tongue lash, oh, just barely misses.
Minus TP.
Bin now running, Abyssal dive. Waiting for the gold card, hits it, but they're chasing him down. Pace is here too, surely there's no way Bin escapes this one. He just doesn't have the tools. Pathmaker forward, nice slow coming in as well from the Randuins, and Bin taken out in the side lane, shut down to Keen.
They've scaled their way to a Canyon death cap.
Oh boy.
That might be too much scaling to overcome, even with the Dragon Soul on the side of BLG. And now that their side lane threat has been taken down, it is open season for Gen G to push.
We've also gotten to the point where Canyon with the Gathering Storm, even more AP amplified as well by the death cap. So it's not going to get easier. And Gen G, for the first time, it feels like forever, reclaim a gold lead.
And no matter how good Bin's movement is, how good Elk's movement is, you just can't get away from the Requiem. Wall of Pain Laid down, BLG doing what they can to walk up to clear some of these minions away. It's just Gen G empowering their cannons to push the tower for them.
And Chovy will take care of the mid lane secondary turret while they finish up the bot side one themselves. Bin is up in 5 seconds.
BLG slowly getting bled out of this game. Baron buff for another minute and 30 seconds. One inhibitor down. Wave's not in a great state to grab another, but BLG feel like they know that they're on a clock. This game is not getting any easier.
Now the bot side inhib is down. Want to reiterate, we talked about the issues for Gen G with starting fights. Same can be said for BLG unless they can find a pick. But Gen G have just been clumping up continuously as to deny a catch.
Discipline again from Gen G, but it's Knight on the side. And they find the pick onto Kane. Good wall of pain to dissuade and engage. And Keen goes in. He wants to start the fight himself, but it's Elk now stepping up. Devour used by the Tom Kent, trying to keep Canyon standing. Lahen's low, but they can't quite finish him. Chovy going in, and that's the ulti. Requiem onto BLG. Huge damage.
Karthus Gaming, baby. That's the death cap in action. The warning shot to BLG. They know what is coming next team fight.
At this point in the game, Canyon also has gotten himself to the maximum amount of stacks on that Ultimate Hunter, so the cooldown not going to be nearly as rough. 80 seconds will be up when this Elder, second Elder, rolls around, and BLG, Shun is going to have to find the smite of his life.
And the seldom seen Locket of the Iron Solari for On. He's just trying to do what he can to mitigate that damage. But it's so tricky now. It's so difficult. Their magic damage is only really on one champion. It's on Knight. You can see the armor focus coming in from Keen. He is so hard to deal with, even when you have the Lord Dominic's regards. Elk backstepping. Gen G setting up for the second Elder of the first game in the MSI finals.
All right, I mean, BLG, what else can they do? They keep Bin on the side lane there, trying to apply pressure during the setup, but Gen G right now, so easy for them to collapse and control the area leading up to this Elder, and they have so much damage with this super fed Karthus, they can burn right through it. BLG are gonna have to full send.
It's gonna have to be getting backline access Knight, maybe a big ultimate on top of some of the members, but Pays now also has his GA. Makes it so much harder. The range of this Senna starting to become a problem.
And Chovy W finding the angle. They're committing onto Shun, however, immediately going to try to use the ulti to get himself a bit of room, but he's still in the circle. Chovy stepping up to just zone the jungler away, to chunk him out. The Nami healing will mitigate a little bit, but another Abyssal dive in. Shun, bit of poke, both sides just sparring, just throwing warning shots back and forth, looking for the angle.
So hard for Zin's out of team fight without his ultimate here. The chunk damage, the cooldown already used, and Gen G will force.
Destiny there, TP behind, empowering them. Elk stepping up, damage onto Lahan's not a priority target. Pays also getting chipped away. Chovy going over the wall onto Bin, knocking him back with the Soul Unbound will bring him in. Shun gets the timing wrong, he can't quite get into the pit.
Are they flipping this?
5K. Are they willing to? Gen G debating on the next play. Q3 is there for Chovy if he wants it. Knight going over the wall! The timing on the blast cone, he locks up too, but they're not really priority targets. Keen still stepping up. Elk taken down. Dawn and Shadow over the top of the fight. The Elder falls. BLG out of options, out of game one.
Somehow no one dies on Gen G! It's a clean ace at 38 minutes. And Gen G, their signature team fighting, comes up huge again.
Canyon will get that one. He smites the Elder, and Gen G will take game one.
Discipline from start to finish, punishing the missteps, knowing they outscale, taking their time. They lose the soul, they lose the 50-50s, but they win game one. Gen G strike the first blow in the MSI finals.
And the only deathless player, Chovy. He stands at the top. Church is in session.
And Bin really tried to get him, but the implications for this series with that Karthus pick coming up is huge, because we already saw the Nidalee pick getting banned away. But Canyon is saying, I have another carry pick. We know Chovy can play Yone. You've been throwing bans at him like it's nothing, and he just locks it in, and we have so many combos that we can play with it.
And we're building up to another series where the story is Gen G's champion pools are just deeper. Canyon continuing to show new picks. Shun, 2 champions banned away, and suddenly he's struggling on the Zen. Of course, it's just game one. Don't forget to log into lolesports.com using your RIDE ID to earn some exclusive MSI 2024 drops. And in the meantime, let's head on over to the analyst desk to break that one down.